what we have discussed in the previous session. So in the previous session, on a high level, we have created one app service. So app service is nothing but platform as service offering, whereas assuming that we are not capable enough to manage the virtual machines and operating system level operation. So we are directly opting for platform as a service offering, right? So we have seen selecting Java 8 and then Tomcat 9. So I was just selecting randomly. And then we have deployed the website. So I'm just creating one website. So as part of the previous session, what we have seen how to deploy a code, whatever is been given by your developer manually into the Azure App Service is nothing but Azure Web App using FTP. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. You will get the credentials to connect to the FTP at a deployment window. There's the publish a profile that could give you the credentials to log in to FTP, file transfer protocol, that could connect us the path where the website content is residing. Right, that's what on a high level what we have seen yesterday. And also we have talked about different kinds of configuration items, settings, and all other stuff. Today we're going to talk about remaining settings, configuration items as part of today's session. Any questions, guys, from previous session, Azure Web App Service, deployment slots, what else we have discussed? Yeah, this is your app service. We have talked about deployment slot, deployment center, authentication, all of this stuff. Till backup, we have a discussion in talking the details. Now, if you could see here, AZT2701.Azure website. This is my website. So when it comes to real time, do you guys use this for a customer to provide this URL? Customer will tend to use with his own product name. Let's say we are working for Air India. It should be AZ2701.airindia.com, not with the Azure provided DNS. In such kind of a requirement, we need to add the custom domains. When I say the custom domains, if you see by default, it is not eligible. So why it is not eligible? I am into free trial. If you could see, my app service plan which I have assigned to this particular application is a free trial. Are you able to see here? F1 free is the compute which I have assigned for this app service. You click on the app service, scale up. I'm just changing to standard tier. So where I will get all the features. Click on OK. Now what we're trying to do, we instead of accessing our website using a default provided DNS name, your application URL ending with azurewebsites.net, we want to bring in our own website name for the Azure web app. That particular thing will be achieved in the custom domains. So why I have coming back to the custom domains, earlier scenario, my plan is not eligible because I'm in a free trial, a free plan of an app service. Now I change it to the standard plan. So in such kind of scenarios, are you able to see there is a custom domain here? Click on add custom domain. Let's say our domain is airindia.com, for example. Click on it. So that what will happen? Your website will give you a record here. Are able to see there is a record, there is a CNAME record, whichever the record you are comfortable. It means the owner of this domain, all right? Host name is available airindia.com. Domain ownership is yet to happen. Okay. When it comes to domain ownership, like a text record, a record, right? So we need to add these records, right, into your GoDaddy or a DNS service provider. So we might have purchased this domain somewhere, right? airindia.com. So you, all of you guys aware GoDaddy? You might be seeing rigorous advertisement for GoDaddy to use to purchase the domain to host your websites. Have you guys ever heard of it? Hello. Okay. So what I'm referring here, so airindia.com is the domain name. Similarly, you can purchase a domain called AZT26.com, asurendra.com, right? Venkat.com. These are all domains which you need to check the availability at the internet. So one of the service provider, major service provider is GoDaddy. GoDaddy helps you to purchase the domains. Right. In this case, assume that I have purchased this domain airindia.com for my project already. Now, if I want to add this domain airindia.com to my Azure website, right, Azure App Service, I need to log into my account of a GoDaddy and then create these records. Are you able to see some records down the line? There's a TXT record, there is a record with these provided values. Are you able to see some values being provided here? These values you just need to copy. You have a copy button here. Copy this value and create a DNS record, all right, in your service provider. In this case, who is your service provider? Your service provider, assuming that GoDaddy, you need to log into the GoDaddy, create these records of DNS records. Previous session we have discussed about DNS records, right? A record, PTR record, CNAME record. A record is IP to hostname, PTR record is hostname to IP address, and vice versa. And CNAME is creating a duplicate name, canonical name for your existing URL or existing name. Right, these are three different DNS records. So here we are using a record along with the text record as well. So once after assuming that you have created this into your public DNS provider and then came back to the screen, click on validate. So as soon as you click on validate, what it will happen? It will check with the domain owner. So in this, who is owning this domain? GoDaddy. It will check the entry. If it is having the entry, then only it will think that I am a valid user who is trying to add a domain. How it is getting confirming that? We are exchanging the values of text record and a record into DNS provider. Once after you get validate this button, what will happen? Your domain will be get added here. So in this case, it will not get added because we haven't purchased and we haven't added this. That's why in a real-time scenario, what will happen? Your domain will be get added and you have one more line will be comes here with the airindia.com. So as soon as this domain gets validated, custom domain has been added, you could see the URL also will get changed to instead of AZT2701 .azurewebsites.net, it will change back to https airindia.com, right? So that your application is reachable via your own custom URL instead of Azure provided default URL. Clear, guys, how to add a custom domain? Any questions with that? It's pretty basic thing. As being an administrator, you may need to perform this. Guys, any questions? Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, Virendra, you are audible.
Okay. Next thing is TLS SSL settings. So when I say HTTPS, are you able to see all these websites are HTTPS, and portal at azure.com also is a HTTPS lock symbol. It means your websites are secured. How these websites are secure? By providing a valid certificate. So if I click on it, certificate is valid. What you are seeing the certificate here? Issued to portal.azure.com is the URL. For that URL, we have purchased the domain or Same time we have purchase certificate. Who is issued in this case? It is issued by Microsoft Certificate Authority. It is valid for 2023 December or March, I guess. Yeah, it is 2023 March. You have a configuring certificate. When it comes to these URLs will be taken care by who? Microsoft, because Microsoft is owning this portal.azure.com. So uploading a security certificate for SSL, secure socket layer, right? Your SSL offloading. This certificate will be uploaded and managed by whom? Microsoft, correct? This is the domain of portal.azure.com. Similarly, for your Azure websites.net also, you could see the certificate is secure. And this certificate also who is managing? Any website name dot Azure websites.net, this certificate can be used by default. Now, the thing is we have changed the domain. We are not using Azure provided domain of Azure websites.net. If you use Azure websites.net, no problem because it's already secured by Microsoft. When we are bringing into our own URL, let's say airindia.com, what we need to do? We need to upload and configure the Air India certificate. Clear, guys? Hope you guys are able to follow. So for that, you have an option here to upload the certificates. These are all paid certificates. So TLS and SSL configuration, right? So these HTTPS only, what will happen if you turn on this option? What will happen HTTPS? If someone is trying to access your website, right, on a HTTP, it will not work. It does support only with the HTTPS only for security purpose. Second thing is TLS version. So TLS is transport layer security. So 1.0, 1.1 and 1.2. By default, it will get select latest one 1.2. It depends of your application support. If your code is compatible to support of only 1.1, you need to pick and choose the 1.1. Post which, as I mentioned too, we have, just give me 1 minute, folks. Sorry guys, I have taken a call. Okay. So what I'm referring here, for a Azure default provided URL for Azure websites.net, your Microsoft will provide the certificate, and this certificate management updating after the expiry of 2023 March 10th, everything will be taken care by Microsoft by default because it is running at and managing this URL and a domain is owning by Microsoft. What we are doing now as part of our custom domain, we are bringing our own domain. Let's say airindia.com we are bringing in. It means we need to bring our own certificate as well. Otherwise, your website is not secure. So for that, you can bring in your certificate in the format of CER, format of PFX. Let's say you have an get a certificate from Azure. import app service certificate Azure provided, and then upload certificate from your local machine, import from key vaults. We are yet to discuss about this concept. By the time you will get fair bit of an understanding about the key vault as a service, which is a password management and certificate management, key management service in Azure securely. We'll understand this concept as well. This is managed certificate app service again. This is also managed by Microsoft. It means we need to purchase a certificate. If you're not purchased anywhere, Azure also will provide you the certificates or else the domains. So in this case, assuming that you have a certificate in a local, you just select it. You can upload the certificates. So let's say if it is 26, we have one client certificate, right? In a real-time scenario, the certificate is not self-signed certificate. So if you guys remember, as part of point to site VPN, what we have done, we created one self-signed root certificate, self-signed client certificate in a PFX format. Do you guys remember? As part of point to site VPN setup, those are all self-signed. It means those are all not purchased certificate, that is local certificate which we created by ourselves for our requirement. When it comes to real-time scenario, make sure you are purchasing the certificate also from the provider, and then we need to upload the certificate here. In this case, I don't have anything, so I was just trying to upload my self-signed PFX certificate. In a real-time scenario, the certificate will be your valid purchased certificate, right? Once after the certificate is uploaded, right, you need to bind this certificate. So this will take, it won't take much time. So here you need to bind the certificate. When you click on the add SSL TLS binding, it will ask for which domain. So as soon as you have added the custom domain airindia.com, here the domain will be get listed airindia.com, and then it will allow you to pick up the certificate as well, whatever we just added. It means combination of custom domain, combination of a certificate, we are going to do the binding. If you do the binding for TLS SSL settings for a custom domain along with the certificate, hence your website will be accessible using AZT27 or airindia.com using HTTPS securely. This is all about custom domains and TLS and SSL settings. Hope you guys are able to follow here. Okay. Next thing is networking. So as I mean, this particular AZT27 is a service which is a platform as service. It means we don't have a backend virtual machine details, backend virtual network details and other stuff. It is only accessible over the internet using this website URL, that is your azurewebsites.com URL, right? When it comes to your VNet integration, right, networking area, we have many options. One option is you can integrate your virtual network. So what is the help with because of this VNet integration? If you want to communicate anything, right, from app service to the virtual machine, let's say your application is running with the app service, your database is running at virtual machine. So what we typically do, by the time we can integrate the virtual network wherever our DB is, right? Your DB is running at a virtual machine. You could able to connect, right? From app service to database connectivity will happen securely in the backend by using the VNet integration. And we have some more options. This will call as service endpoint. And we have one more option called private endpoint. When I say the private endpoint, what will happen? This particular URL of your website is accessible only with the public IP and public URL, right? It will allow us to assign a private IP address. to your PaaS services, not only for a web app or app service. Most of the platform as service offering today, like your storage, like your databases, all MySQL, MS SQL, Postgres, Cosmos, anything you name it, app services. Further, we're going to talk about key vault, service bus namespaces. So all these platform as a service offerings, right? It will by default publicly resolvable resources. So for our security requirement, all these services will allow assigning a private IP address to these services. Clear? What it will do? It will help you in assigning the private IP addresses so that when from a virtual machine to database, the communication will happen very securely because it will think that you are in the same virtual network, same subnet. Okay, and you could see that one more option here, access restriction. When I say the access restriction, do you guys remember the concept what we have discussed? Azure security, network security groups, NSGs. So what we have used for NSG is for to use, allow and deny the traffic to your virtual machines, correct? Whereas we can restrict what to allow, what not to allow. Similarly, assume that in a real-time scenario, you don't want to allow this website in a scenario that this Azure websites.net is an application, right? You don't want to allow this URL from outside world, then you want to allow this website only from within the company or within your organization, right? Best example is there is a development websites. Might be you are using Azure Web Apps. Your development website may not be necessary to access by outside world, correct? It's only for your developers and your organization. And in such kind of scenarios, you can restrict the access by adding the rules as well. Let's say by default now, I am able to access this website, whatever the default content, not a custom website. The default content itself, I am able to access. Now what I will do, I will restrict the access to my IP address. So this is my internet IP is assigned my service provider. What I will do, I will go to the add restrictions and then I will restrict this particular public IP so that this particular website will not be accessible from my machine. So I'm just mentioning that it is Surendra. Name is deny. I'm just giving a priority, let's say 200 and IP address is this one. Right click on add rule. So here, if you see what is the action by default, it has allow or deny. So I'm just clicking on it's a deny rule so that you will get a actual use case of this rule. So it is just added the rule. I'm just refreshing. Are you able to see there's a priority was given 200. Name is Surendra deny. This is the public IP. What is the action I want to perform? Deny. So what I'm just clicking on now, what is the expectation guys if I refresh this page, whether I can access or I couldn't able to access it. What is the expected behavior? Okay, no problem. So expected behavior is I should not able to access this website. If I refresh this page, what is the error message I was getting here? Error 403 forbidden. The web app you are trying to access, right? It has blocked your access. It was clearly saying that website is running only, but your access is forbidden and your IP address has been blocked so that you cannot access this particular website. Clear guys how to restrict the website access? In your real-time scenario, your entire organization, let's say you're working for TCS, Your entire TCS as an organization will have one or two public IPs so that you can allow the access only to that particular public IPs. Rest everything you can deny. So that what will happen? The one who is came to office and then try to access the website, that alone will be accessible. Other website, other location, if someone is trying to access your application, it will be get not allowed. Is it clear, folks? Any questions with the networking? Okay, assuming that able to follow. Next important thing is something called auto scaling. When it comes to scaling, right, this concept is same for a virtual machine scale set. Similar to your virtual machine, there is a resource called virtual machine scale set. It is combination of multiple virtual machines. We'll call it as a virtual machine scale set. Similar to your app service, these two components in Azure, right, your interviewer or your technical discussions, there is a concept will come across is your auto scaling, scale up and scale out, right? Scale up and scale out. Do remember this is pretty confusing when it comes to to understand, as well as when it comes to interview also you will be get confused what is scale up and what is scale out, right? Scale up in the sense it is both the things. The name suggests scale in the sense increase the capacity, right? When it comes to increasing the capacity, right? How can I increase the capacity, guys? Very layman example. If someone can guide me through. Let's say you are just trying to carry, right? There, let's say 20 kgs of a rice. Let's say you are being one person. So I was assigned one person to carry all the time 20 kgs of a rice bag, right, daily. Assume that there is a sudden increase in the load. He has to pick up the load of 80 kgs of a rice bag or 100 kg of a rice bag, right? So what is the solution now to pick up the bag by one person? First in place, did he able to pick up the 80 kgs of a bag? Okay, no problem. So in such kind of scenarios, what we can do, we have two options is get complete this particular job. The first option is instead of bringing a guy who is capable enough to lift this 80 kgs of a bag, it means with a good amount of capacity. Second option is bringing in multiple people. Let's say now I am having only one people, I can bring on six people so that the six people will collaboratively pick up the 80 kgs of a bag. These are all two options for me to scale up. Similarly, when it comes to your applications, app service, or a virtual machine scale set, scale up in the sense you can increase the capacity. For now, I am in a standard tier, whereas it is assigned only 1.75 GB of a memory. So this 1.75 GB of a memory, which is assigned to my application, is unable to manage the load of a traffic. Then what I will do, I will increase the capacity vertically. It means I will change this from 1.75 GB of a memory to the 7 GB of a memory. So what will happen? Now my application will go smoothly because I'm having four times of a higher capacity what is been there earlier. So that today my application is serving for 1,000 requests, right? And if whereas my application is fill up this particular all the requests and usage is 100%, your application performance will be degraded. Such kind of scenarios, I know that there is a traffic which is coming through, let's say 10,000 or 40,000 requests is going to come. So what I will do, I will increase the capacity from 1.75 GB of a memory to 7 GB of a memory, right? So that it will capable enough to manage up to, let's say, 50,000 requests or 1 lakh requests to be handled by this particular application. Here, increasing the capacity vertically from lower SKU or lower pricing tier to higher pricing tier, we'll call it as a scale up. There is one more thing called scale out. It is nothing but increasing the capacity horizontally. It means you will be having same capacity of 1.75 GB of a memory. You can increase the count of your application to serve the business. Let's say current is only one instance. So what I will do, I will change it to the 6 instances so that 1.75 GB into 6 instances parallelly will run and serve the business. This is horizontal scaling. When it comes to horizontal scaling, you can do it by manually, by come to the screen, click on exchange it to the manually, and then you have one more option called auto scaling. So manual scaling in the sense you need to provide the number of instances. For auto scaling, here we can define some conditions. If it is matching the condition, it will automatically increase the number of instances, right? Let's say first one is you can increase the number of nodes based on a matrix. It means based on my application assigned a tier of CPU and memory usage. Let's say I'm having this app service with the 1.75 GB of a memory is assigned and 200 ACPUs. So if my CPU utilization, let's say for example, of this app service, I'm just giving a condition here is greater than 90%. Then I'm saying that if the 10 minutes of a duration, if it's continuously greater than 10% of my CPU usage, what will happen? Increase count by 1. It means if it is matching this condition, my app service CPU usage is greater than 90% for continuously 10 minutes. What is the condition I have given guys here? Increase the count by 1. So what will happen automatically? Based on the condition, it will add one app service. Similarly, you can add multiple rules also. This one not only for a CPU. And let's say you have a memory percentage. So currently it is using 56.88 percentage, right? If it's similar condition, let's say the memory is touching the 90% of a usage, duration is continuously for 10 minutes. The condition I'm saying again, instance count increase it by one more, right? If it is coming down from a 90% below with the cool down period of 5 minutes, it means continuously for a 5 minutes, it's below 90% of utilization. What it will do? It will remove the node automatically. So there is no manual intervention is needed. We can decide the number of instances for your business, right? You can automatically get increased. This concept we'll call it as a auto scaling. Able to follow, guys? Chiranjeevi, Harsha, Venkat, Sailu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Click on add. This is a second condition. So here, like that, it cannot go to 100 number of instances, right? So we need to pay for it. So I can decide what is the minimum, what is the maximum. Let's say maximum it can go to 10. Default auto is 1. So that what will happen, guys, whenever it is matching up the criteria, it will always go for 10 instances in the backend to serve my business without having any impact. There is one more auto scaling method. Let's say all of you guys are being Amazon, this great Indian sales. Assume that your application also is kind of a great Indian sales. You know that in a specific dates, right? In a specific dates, what you know that there is a heavy traffic is going to come for your application. In such kind of scenarios, you can typically schedule it. Let's say I'm the schedule based scaling. Let's say I'm going to Indian standard of a timing plus 5:30. Yeah. So I know that my Great Indian Festival is starts at somewhere in August, right? Let's say from 13th of August, ends with somewhere in 16th of August, 4 days. So what I'm defining here, I can say that minimum instance count at this particular specified time can be 6 instances should run, maximum should go to 10 instances, and default again it will be 6. So what will happen, guys, in this scenario? In a schedule where, right, I have scheduled it. I know that there's a Great Indian Sale. My Amazon website is running in this Azure website and I'm trying to access it. So the traffic will be 4 times or 10 times of higher what I'm getting it today. That is a known thing, correct? So in such kind of scenarios, we can schedule the scaling so that it will automatically increase the number of instances by matching this condition. These are all, one is metrics based auto scaling, other one is scheduled based auto scaling. Apart from these two, you have manual scaling as well. So you just click on save so that if it is matching this conditions, it will increase the number of instances so that your application will never be slow at any point in time. As it's been started using matching the conditions, it will increase the count and it will serve the business effectively. This is called auto scaling options, scale up and scale out. On a high level, do remember in this way, scale up is vertically scaling, scale out is horizontally scaling. If you could able to remember these two keywords, it will be easy for you when it comes to interview. Is it clear, folks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, shall we move ahead? These are all most of the configuration items are an options which we have discussed. For a troubleshooting purpose, right? This is, as I've been mentioned, this is what kind of service it is, IaaS or a PaaS? It is a platform as a service offering, right? When it comes to platform as a service offering, backend virtual machine is managing by whom? In this case, it is managing by Microsoft. You are just using one service in the one website in the virtual machine. So some scenarios, if you want to know what is the backend virtual machine configurations and troubleshooting purpose settings and all, we have a window called Kudu console. You just type Kudu here. You will get one advanced tools. Click on this. Just click on go. So when you click on go, so what will happen? It will automatically opens up one more URL, that is your SC so you could see that your website name .scm Azure website.net. This is backend of your Azure website. It will give you all the details, right? What exactly the build versions, setup time, folder where your content is residing, all those things you could see it. If you click on the environment, you could see what is the backend operating system versions. So system uptime in the backend is these many days, right? What it is, 4 days, 4 days and 40 seconds and other stuff. OS version is 10.0, 64-bit operating system. This is the server name in the backend. DW1S, DWK, 0000Q2. This is my backend virtual machine where my website is running, right? It's kind of a complete configuration settings. If you want to see some, when it comes to some kind of a troubleshooting purpose, you can connect to this console as well. Apart from this, you have a debugging consoles as well, whereas you could open the command prompt or a PowerShell in this window and then check the connectivity purposes. In a real time, guys, let's say an administrator and you have enabled the communication between, assume that from a application to database running in a other end, and your application guys keep on complaining that I am unable to connect the database. There is no connection at all. That is the reason I am not able to make up the application. Right? What he will say simply, there is an issue from Azure team. He is not able to, he didn't enable the connection, so I am unable to access it. This is a pretty much simple thing people will do when it comes to real time, guys. When the issue comes in, they will not check it from their end. They'll simply redirect to the problems at infrastructure team. Here, who is managing the infrastructure? It's managing by Azure team. Clear? So in such kind of scenarios, you could make use of this particular window, right? With this window, what you can do, you can typically ping to the respective ping operation or telnet operation you can do from this console and prove that, boss, wherever your website is running, destination to the database, destination to the endpoint, whatever you want to connect, it is able to connect. Please find the screenshot. Right? This is how you can prove it. Clear, guys? Any questions? You have process explorers, you have a tools as well. So whereas this is a process explorer, what it will do typically, it will let you know what are all the different processes running against your website in this particular Windows machine. If you see for IaaS related, all internet information services, right? This is IaaS where your website is running. Each service is running Java service, command prompt. I just now opened a command prompt, right? That command prompt also started using some compute. My Java application is also using some compute. So you could see that how much total amount of CPU or memory it has been using, all the granular level of information you can find it in Process Explorer. And we have a tools as well where you can see the diagnostic dump and other stuff. So this will help you to collect the dump of your diagnostics, all the information, logs, errors, and everything. Right? You have one more thing called log streaming. If you click on it, what will happen as soon as you are accessing your website, it will generate the log information in the browser itself, real-time logging. If you want to see against your website, you can use this log streaming as well. Okay. This is all most of the options guide what we can start to discuss about app service. Any questions with respect to the service, folks? Anything you would like to discuss? Shall I proceed further?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we have just discussed, we have talked about app service and one more service similar to app service only, all settings, configurations, whatever we discussed, everything will be same only, but you have similar concept called function app. Function app also is a platform as a service. It's kind of serverless compute, they will call it as, right? Whereas this particular function apps is used to run some kind of an operations, background operations to your applications, right? Let's say you want to scheduled basis, you want to get some data, put some data in your application or delete some data, right? Any kind of background operation. It's not like a front-end applications, operations using function apps. Typically, you can do whatever the operations you want to perform to backend to manage that particular application, to simplify your application. You could make use of this function apps, right? You can define this function app to run. You can trigger some jobs or events based on the schedule with a small piece of a code what you do have. Right? When it comes to supportability, it will be the same support. So you can run any kind of a development language like Java, .NET, Python, whatever the language you have, you can make use of it. When it comes to instant limitation, right? So we can use up to only 1.5 GB of a memory, right, allocated to your function apps, and the execution time also will be supported for 5 minutes only by default. You can increase it to 10 minutes, that is something different, but these are all the default parameters. It is not like your website to run 24/7, but still, right, if you wish like to, there's a two pricing tiers. One tier is consumption plan. When you select the consumption plan, what will happen? You will be get paid only for the number of times you actually use the function apps. It means there is no CPU and memory. It will automatically handled by Microsoft. If you're running for 1 lakh times or 2 lakh times, 2 million requests, 10 million requests, accordingly you will be get charged. Assume that you don't want to use a consumption plan, you go with the app service plan. When I said app service plan, it is similar to your web app. We just discussed about app service, web app, right? Where we have talked about plans from a free trial, standard tier, premium tier. So similar plan also you can assign it to function app. Only difference is if you assign the app service plan, if you use it or not use it, you run it or not run it, doesn't matter. You will be get paid for it 24/7. Each hour will be billable whether you use it or not. The cost will be higher comparatively consumption plan, right? But if I just create one function app and show you the operations is similar as it is, there is no difference at all if you just compare it with your web app. So I'm just trying to create a function app. Click on create. It will also use Azure Websites.net. Are you able to see here? This is also AZT2702. Similarly, you can select the runtime stack. I'm selecting Java 8.0, 9.0, 11.0. Location is this one. You can decide the operating system as well, Linux or Windows. This is what I'm saying. So consumption is one plan, other one is app service plan, and there's a premium plan also. So it depends on the region where we'll be. But if you could see, these other options are degraded because my subscription is a free subscription, so they're not been allowing me to use. But in a real-time case, we don't face this problem at all. Right? Next one is networking. By default is not enabled, so you can actually typically integrate the networking for you. So monitoring, you can use application insights as a service. Right, this is the monitoring tool to monitor your applications, but function app it doesn't make sense because it is run some kind of a background operations to your websites. Click on create. Why it has been deployment is failed might be the region where I have selected is not been. The region has quota of one instance of your subscription, so I need to change the region. That's it. So do remember, in a real time, you will not be faced these kind of a problems. USTS2. So I'm just creating a function app. Management of a function app, connecting to the function app like FTP, deployment slots, deployment centers, your custom domains, your SSL settings, your Kudu console, scale up, scale out. All these options are same as your web app, are same as your app service. Again, it got failed. Let me see to select Korea Central. Create. It should select at least Korea Central. Seems to be it is still validating. Yeah, it went on submitting the deployment window. When I say the submitting the deployment window, okay, so deployment is in progress. The symbol and the service is different, but when it comes to our administrative purpose, for developer, it does make sense to use two different components. But being an administrator for you and me, it is similar options. There is no much difference. We'll see that. Yeah, seems to be it is done. Just go to the resource. This is your function app. Are you able to see the function app here? There is an URL similar to what we have been selected. This is Azure function. Similarly, if you just come down here, are you able to see deployment slots, deployment center, configurations, authentication, custom domains, TLS, SSL settings, networking, scale out, right? Kudu console also will be there. All those things are same. There is no difference at all. Everything, right? Only the purpose is different, whereas people, your developers will write the functions here. They will create a functions with a small piece of a code. It's not like very bigger length in code. Functions will be very small pieces. They will trigger those jobs against their whatever the job or operation they want to perform against their application by using these functions, by writing small piece of a codes. Right? Any questions, guys, with the function app? Management perspective, it is same only. So whatever we have seen. So this is the option I was been referring to earlier. Log stream. So this is the log stream is the button. It is available for app service and function app. It will be give you the current log streaming, right? If you are really accessing these applications, right, in a real-time scenario, it will stream the log. Are you able to see? Welcome, you are now under the default timeout is 2 hours, change the timeout and all of the stuff. So if I'm accessing this website, I'm putting some code and everything, right? Everything will be get recorded in the screen. Okay, so that you could see the real-time logs of what exactly is happening against your application, similar to your web app as well as app service. Any questions, guys, with the function apps? Today, most of you are pretty calm. Not sure it's about the weekend, and I taken you guys in the early in the morning by 8.
No, not.
Okay, so any questions, guys, like before closing the session?
No, sir. Please upload recording.
Yeah, I will upload. I have moved all the recordings. This only is pending. This one also I will move it, not a problem. Morning I have moved all other remaining classes as well.
Okay.
Okay. And tomorrow, so we'll be not having the session in the morning. I will confirm you the timing in the evening slot. Okay. From Monday again, we'll have the session in the morning 8 only. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Have a nice weekend. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Surya. Thank you, Venkat.